everyone, we're Mimicker, here to introduce all kinds of knowledge, even the stuff we didn't know about.
Exactly. And for today's deep dive, I'm going to ask you to suspend your disbelief for a moment. And maybe your gag reflex.
Okay, that's quite the introduction.
Because we're looking at a creature that might just be one of the most efficient little machines nature has ever built.
That's a high bar. When I think efficient machine in nature, I think, a cheetah or a falcon.
Right, but this machine isn't built for speed. It's built for gluttony. We are talking about nature's ultimate glutton.
Ultra glutton.
I want you to picture something that can eat literal mountains of waste-rotting, stinking food and just make it vanish in a few days.
You have my attention. But based on our research, I'm guessing this isn't a cute, fuzzy koala.
It's definitely not.
Yeah.
We're talking about the black soldier fly. Its scientific name is Hermetia illucens.
Ah.
But more specifically, we're talking about its larvae.
So maggots. We're going to spend this deep dive talking about maggots.
We are. But before you or anyone listening tunes out, you need to understand this is not your average housefly. This insect is like a superstar of the circular economy. And honestly, we kind of desperately need it.
Why the desperation? Is the garbage situation really that bad?
It's way worse than most people think. If we just look at the data we collect, the numbers are just staggering. Take China, for example.
Yeah.
That one country generates around 120 million tons of food waste every single year.
120 million tons. I can't even picture that.
It's a colossal amount.
Yeah.
And our usual methods for dealing with it, landfills, incineration, they're just failing.
Right, and even composting, which is the good option, is slow. I have a compost bin. It takes months.
Exactly. Traditional composting takes anywhere from 30 to 90 days. It relies on microbes. But the black soldier fly larvae, they're like biological incinerators.
Yeah.
They can get through the preliminary decomposition in just 3 to 4 days.
Wait, hold on. 3 days?
3 to 4 days. And if you look at the whole industrial cycle, from the moment the waste goes in to the moment you get fertilizer out, the entire process is just 10 to 12 days.
That's like putting decomposition on fast forward. It's so much faster than how nature usually works.
And it's not just the speed, it's the space.
Yeah.
Because you can use vertical farming techniques, stacking trays of these larvicissing. A BSF facility takes up about 1/16 of the space of a composting plant.
High-density dining. But there was this detail in the research that I had to read it twice. Something about metabolic heat.
Oh, this is fascinating. You have millions of these larvae in a single tray, all eating and writhing around nonstop.
Right.
All that movement and biological energy release actually generates a significant amount of heat.
They heat the room themselves.
They do. They're like little living furnaces.
Yeah.
Many of these places, even in winter, don't need to turn on external heating. The bugs are keeping the place warm just by eating.
That's wild. A self-heating factory. But I have to be the skeptic for a second.
Go for it.
You're talking about millions of maggots and tons of rotting food. That sounds like a biohazard, a recipe for disease.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But that's the amazing paradox here. They actually make the environment cleaner.
How is that even possible?
2 big reasons. First, they just outcompete everything. They eat so fast that pests like houseflies have no chance to breed. So they actually keep the disease-carrying flies away.
Okay, so they're like the bouncers of the insect world.
Exactly. And second, and this is the really cool part, their bodies produce these things called antimicrobial peptides.
Antimicrobial peptides. So like natural antibiotics.
Essentially, yes.
Oh.
As they digest the waste, these peptides kill off pathogens like salmonella and E. coli. They literally sanitize what they're eating.
So you put in dangerous, rotting stuff, and what comes out is safe.
That's the idea. It's fast, space-efficient, self-heating, and self-cleaning.
Okay, so this is about more than just getting rid of trash. You said circular economy, which means we get something valuable back, right?
We get 3 main products and 1 huge environmental bonus. The first product, and the one driving the whole market, is premium animal feed.
Protein.
Right. The larvae are little nutritional bombs, packed with protein and fat. When you dry them out, they can replace fish meal and soybean meal, which is a huge deal for aquaculture.
For fish farming.
Yes. Right now, we catch wild fish from the ocean, grind them into fish meal, and then feed that to farmed fish. It's completely unsustainable.
It seems like a broken system.
It is. The data we collect suggests that using insect protein could save over 40,000 tons of wild fish from being caught for feed every year. It takes the pressure off our oceans.
That's a massive win. Okay, so what's product number 2?
The waste from the waste. The technical term is frass.
Frass. which is a nice word for.
Bug poop, yeah. Mixed with their shed exoskeletons. But for a farmer, this stuff is gold. It's a high-quality organic fertilizer.
Better than the chemical stuff.
In many ways, yes. It contains something called chitin from the shells. Chitin actually triggers a plant's natural immune system, making it stronger against pests. It rebuilds soil health.
So we have feed and fertilizer. What's the third?
Straight-up revenue. It's a unique business model because you get paid tipping fees to take the garbage, and then you get paid again when you sell the larvae and oil.
Double dipping. I like it. And you mentioned a fourth, non-physical product.
The carbon footprint. When food rots in a landfill, it releases methane, a really potent greenhouse gas. By feeding it to these flies, you stop that from happening.
Do we have numbers on that?
We do. BSF Tech reduces greenhouse gas emissions by over 70% compared to composting. And if you have the fly farm right next to the food factory, that reduction can hit 80%.
Those are huge numbers. It sounds almost like a perfect solution. So if it's so perfect, why isn't there a fly farm in every city?
Because it's not magic, it's biology, and biology is messy. There are some really big challenges, and the first one is just the smell.
Yeah, I imagine 50 tons of rotting food smells pretty bad.
It reeks. The stuff arrives already spoiling. So these facilities need expensive negative pressure ventilation, deodorization systems. Basically giant air scrubbers. Otherwise, the neighbors will shut you down fast.
So not a garage startup then?
No. And then there are the flies themselves. I like to call them the escape artists.
The larvae run away.
It's pure instinct. When a larva is ready to pupate, its brain screams, "Find a dry, dark place." So they start crawling. If your building isn't designed with special anti-escape ramps, you'll have millions of maggots just walking out the door.
That is a horrifying image. The zombie march of the larvae.
It's a PR nightmare waiting to happen. And on top of that, they're total divas.
Divas? I thought they were tough survivors.
They are, but to get that industrial level speed, conditions have to be absolutely perfect. The temperature has to be between 27 and 30 degrees Celsius.
That's very specific.
And the humidity needs to be 60 to 70%. Too cold, they stop eating. Too hot, they die.
So they're high maintenance.
Extremely. And remember, they're a tropical species. So if your plant is in, say, Canada or Germany, you have to pay a fortune to heat the building all winter, which eats into your profit and your carbon savings.
That makes sense. It's high-tech farming, not just trash disposal.
Exactly. And that leads to the economics. Building these factories is expensive. You need robotics, climate controls, sensors. In a place like Taiwan, it costs about $120 to process 1 ton of waste.
And that's pricier than just dumping it in a landfill.
Often, yes. And the insect feed itself is still more expensive than cheap soybean meal. But despite all that, the world is really pushing forward. And what's fascinating is how different regions are approaching it.
Let's do a global tour. Where do we start?
Let's start in Europe. Europe is all about the high-tech, high-regulation approach. You have companies like Produx and Innovafeed. Their facilities look like pharmaceutical labs.
But there's a big catch in Europe, isn't there?
A huge one. The EU is terrified of diseases like mad cow, so the regulations are incredibly strict. They can't feed the flies catering waste. No restaurant leftovers, no post-consumer scraps.
So they can only eat clean garbage.
Basically, yeah. Pre-consumer agricultural byproducts. It ensures safety, but it really limits how much waste they can divert. Now compare that to China.
China always operates on a massive scale.
A massive scale. They see their mountain of food waste as the main enemy. In 2023, they produced over 120,000 tons of larvae. And in 2021, they relaxed their rules to specifically allow food waste processing.
So they're tackling the exact messy stuff that Europe avoids.
Exactly. You have single plants processing 500 tons a day. The government is subsidizing it heavily just to make the waste disappear.
So Europe is cautious, China is aggressive, but the story that really stood out to me from the research was from Kenya.
Ah, Project Mila. This is my favorite example. It shows the incredible ripple effects.
Okay, walk me through it.
So they use the flies to process urban waste in Mombasa.
Ugh.
But the key is the frass, the fertilizer. They sell it cheap, or even give it, to local farmers.
Okay.
Because the farmers now have this great organic fertilizer, they stop buying the cheap, harsh chemical fertilizers.
Which is better for the soil.
And better for the ocean. The chemical fertilizer runoff was getting into the sea and fueling algae blooms that were killing the coral reefs.
No way.
Yes. By switching to frass, they reduced that runoff. They've actually linked this insect farm to a reduction in coral reef bleaching along the coast.
So feeding maggots in the city is literally helping save coral reefs in the ocean.
It's this beautiful, unexpected connection. And at the same time, local farmers get cheap feed for their chickens and fish, which helps fight poverty. It's a triple win.
That's amazing. And just to round out the map, what about North America?
North America is mostly focused on the high-end pet food market. Companies like EnviroFlight, exactly. Turns out insect protein is great for dogs with allergies. It's a high-value niche market, a gentle way to introduce the concept to consumers. Start with Fido, right?
Smart.
Yeah.
Get the dog on board first. So, okay, that's the present. But what about the future? Is it just more chicken feed?
Oh no, we are just scratching the surface here. We're getting into what they call the blue ocean phase. First, the tech is getting wild. We're talking AI and IoT.
AI for maggots.
Machine vision cameras that sort larvae by size, robots managing the stacks. But the real frontier is biotech. Scientists are breeding super strains of flies.
Superflies, like bigger, faster.
More specialized. Imagine a strain that's cold tolerant, so you don't need to heat the factory in a cold climate. Or a strain that naturally has higher levels of omega-3s.
Custom design nutrition.
You got it. But the value goes way beyond food. We're looking at medical and industrial products. Take their shells, the cuticles. You can process the chitin from them into something called chitosan.
I think I've heard of that from medical stuff.
Exactly. It's used for advanced medical dressings, bandages that actively help wounds heal. So imagine a bandage on your arm made from the shell of a fly that ate your dinner scraps.
From the trash can to the trauma center.
Precisely. And it gets even more sci-fi. The melanin in the flies, the pigment that makes them black, actually has conductive properties. There's research into using it for organic electronic components.
You're kidding. Bug batteries?
Or semiconductors.
Uh-huh.
And in South Korea, they're looking at creating textile fibers from the cuticles.
For fashion. We could be wearing clothes made from fly byproducts.
It's entirely possible. The market is projected to hit 3 or 4 billion US dollars by 2030. It's moving from a waste management industry to a biomaterials industry.
That completely changes the economics. If you can sell a tiny bit of medical-grade chitosan for a high price, the cost of processing the waste almost doesn't matter anymore.
That's it. You stop seeing trash, you start seeing raw material mine, and the black soldier fly is just the tiny wriggling miner.
It really forces you to change your perspective. You see a maggot and your brain says pest, but nature sees a high-performance chemical engineer.
It's a great lesson in humility, I think. We try to invent all these complex machines to solve our problems, but sometimes evolution already built the perfect one.
Absolutely. Well, it definitely makes you think twice. Maybe not about houseflies, though. You can still swat those.
Oh yeah, definitely swat the houseflies.
But give the black soldier fly a nod of respect. Before we wrap, I want to leave everyone with one last provocative thought. We talked about feeding chickens and we talked about medical bandages, but as the world's population grows, how long until the black soldier fly isn't just feeding your food, but is your food?
That's the final frontier, isn't it?
Powdered protein in your smoothie, a burger made from insect flour. It's already happening. The nutrition is there. The safety data is there. The only real barrier left is that yuck factor in our own heads. Are you ready to take a bite?
I think you just might have ruined lunch for a few people today.
Thanks for tuning into this episode. If you enjoyed our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on the notification bell. See you guys.